Meeting to order. I call upon our secretary, Mr. Narayanan, to start our meeting with our conventional prayer. Over to Narayanan. Prayer, please.
Good evening. Heaven of freedom, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where the knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless streaming stretches its arms towards perfection, where clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into the heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. The recital from Rabindranath's collections.
Thank you, Narayanan. Proceeding further. Friends on same wavelength. Chennai chapter, Annanagar. Welcome you all for our 167th meet. That means we have completed 13 years, 11 months without a break, except for the COVID epidemic. And this happens to be a very important, memorable lecture. It's called endowment lecture in the memory of late Smt Rangamani Swami, wife of ML Swami Garu, who is my mentor and guru. These are the ideal couple who have laid a strong foundation for our friends on same wavelength. They are like made for each other. I call them as Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. They are so very well. And those two people have taken immense effort in starting our friends on same wavelength at ICC Cupertino. Started in a very miniature, small manner with about few people gathered. The idea behind of starting this particular chapter was to keep the visitors that are coming to Cupertino, to keep them engaged. They used to engage them in ICC Indian community centers with inviting specialist lecturers to give their lecture on their subject and socialize themselves there and disperse. This is how it started. And it grew like a lot of members joining, and so many other entertainment things also started joining in that ICC center. All people used to gather, enjoy, and keep themselves engaged. And then that grow like a banyan tree. As you know, banyan tree raises its branches. Similarly, Friends on Same Wavelength also started having branches all over India. To start with, Hyderabad, Chennai, they have got two chapters. One is Annanagar, one is Adayar, another is at Vijayawada. This is all going on very well by the blessings of our mentor and Guru ML Swami Garu. And Rangamani Madam is so nice and hospitable. Whenever we visit, she used to take care of us. I take this opportunity of remembering them on this occasion. And I also welcome our fellow FOSWLians, ICC Cupertino, Hyderabad, Chennai Adayar, Vijayawada, and my own music group members who have been attending here. Here is the great mentor Guru ML Swami Garu. This was a photo taken at the occasion of 150th celebration of FOSWL at Cupertino. He has celebrated in a grand way, and I had the opportunity of attending to it, and we thoroughly enjoyed and participated that. Now, coming into further, I take the opportunity of welcoming our distinguished speaker, Desiraju Padma Garu. She's an ME Electronics, and she's a scientist of DRDO Center of Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. The center in charge of Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, and she is the awardee of a prestigious award of Agni Award for her outstanding contribution she has done to her department as well as to our country, which can never be forgotten. We are highly thankful to you, madam, for having spared some time to lecture us today. I wholeheartedly welcome you into our midst. And proceeding further, now I call upon our Vice President, Professor Dr. R.V.S.N. Sharma, who happens to be a senior physician of Manipal Hospital at Bangalore. And he is our Vice President. He has been very well coordinating with us, and we have brought up to this level now. Now over to Professor Sharmaji to introduce our distinguished speaker. And then members, all of you listen to our lecture, after the end of which we have got what is known as discussion. You can keep all your questions reserved for her. She'll be too happy to clarify. Proceeding further, Professor Sharmaji, go ahead, please.
So, welcome, my dear sister Padmaji. Yeah, very nice to have you here. And this is a forum, as I have explained, friends on same wavelength. So, you appear now as a same wavelength personality. That's why you are here. So, we are very nice to welcome you on behalf of myself, personal self, and the organization, and of course the president and the secretary and other office bearers. Now, a few words about you are pertinent at this moment for the people who are here to know about you. First of all, I am your brother. So that is, or you are my sister. That is one direct introduction. Smt Desiraju Padma has completed her Bachelor of Engineering in the year 1988, and she did her Masters of Engineering in Electronics from Osmania University in Hyderabad. So she joined this defense organization DRDO in the year 1889 and is working in Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. She is of course based in Bangalore since 2005. She has worked on multiple projects for which she has received the prestigious Agni Award for Excellence. She is working in the development of intelligent systems, especially development of autonomous technologies for ground, aerial, and underwater platforms. She is going to speak to us today on the Indian government defense and understanding from a common man's perspective. Because when we say defense, automatically we know the rifle and the person shooting, only the people in the
Sharmaji, sorry for the interruption. The topic is going to be how this intelligence is going to operate for us in the battlefield. That is the topic today.
Okay? Oh, is that the topic? Proceed. But you have in the email, you have put it a different way.
No, I sent it. Don't bother. Proceed now.
Okay. Anyway, you announced the topic. So it's common man are generally not aware of what is military, what are the three different wings, how they operate, and what is the know-how that they use and all that. And I think we will be able to get some insight in this next 45 minutes to 1 hour from Padmaji, and then I hand over the mic to her without any further delay. Please come and take over.
Thank you, Annanagar. And namaste to all who have joined here. So each of you are coming with your own expertise, I'm sure, and each of you are a stalwart in your domain. So I'm going to share a small understanding, and with the experience, whatever I have gained, I want to talk on the role of AI and robotics in the battlefield. So, and I first of all thank the organizers of Friends on Same Wavelength, especially Dr. V.S. Sarmagaru, President of the Chennai chapter, and Dr. R.V.S.N. Sarmagaru, who is a brother-like figure to me, and his brother also by relation. And for giving me this opportunity, he was the first person who had approached me. And I quickly said yes, knowing how much passionate he is about all these topics and sharing of knowledge. So today I'm going to talk on the role of AI and robotics also on the battlefield. So I would like to state that the content of all the slides that I have made is almost all 100% taken from the internet. Since I'm working in a sensitive organization, please pardon me that I'm not talking about anything of what we do in our organization. So respecting its policies and guidelines. So whatever is generally available on internet, even our work, whatever we do is also published. So based on that, I have framed my slides. And also knowing that all of you are different fields, I have tried to make it as general and able to convey the message to all of you, and you are able to understand. Thank you. So, over the years, you would have seen a lot of movies also using, AI and robotics, where you have seen in 2000s and 2010s and to even in the latest release movies, where a lot of movies have come on AI and the robotics also, and the robots were so much human-like that it always has made us look at them in awe and assuming that maybe one day, maybe they will take over. I mean, the movies also have come like that. So maybe in future that might happen. I mean, who knows in future what can happen, because the way the AI field is progressing also. So definitely it has kept us in awe. So and AI also has played a very big role in the battlefield. And as we are nowadays seeing also in the recent wars in Ukraine, Russia, and also in the, Israel, Palestine, and now Lebanon. So many things are happening, and AI is definitely picking up its role in the battlefield. So what I have done is I have organized my contents in this way. Before getting into the applications, I would like to introduce some of the jargon and the terminology that is used in AI, so that tomorrow, whenever you see, you can understand a bit of it, and it will help you feel get a feeling of what they are telling. And then I will try to bring out the AI and robotics applications and defense, and especially the challenges of what we have to face while adapting the AI and robotics in the battlefields. And then I would like to conclude my talk. So basically, these are the different things that we hear. I mean, generally, these are the general words. When we talk about artificial intelligence, we should also know what is natural intelligence or the human intelligence. So we always hear the words of data, information, knowledge, and intelligence. So what is the small differences between all of these? What are the differences among these words? So when we say data it's a collection of unorganized facts. So we can say that these are all the small bits and like the atoms or the molecules. These are all there, and we by themselves they might not mean much. They might represent something, but you will not be able to understand the context in which it is being talked about, what it is meaning, and what is it that knowledge that it is going to give it to us. So these small bits and pieces are all can be called as the data. Now, once they are all organized and we get some information, okay, tiger is a wild animal. Wild animals live in jungles. So this will give some information to us. This is the processed data organized in some particular context. And now tiger can be used in some other context of a zoo also, or it can be used in some other, Bengal tigers or different contexts. So each of the contexts give the informations pertaining to the same data. Now comes the difference between the knowledge and intelligence. So knowledge is something that we understand, that we gain by our experience, by reading through different informations, and also we get understanding, we get the knowledge of each of the domains in which we are working and spend our lives and experience on. Now intelligence, we might be understanding that, but in a situation where it is required, we should be able to apply this knowledge, not only in this domain, but maybe across in any other domain also. So this is the difference between knowledge and intelligence. So intelligence can be somewhat from, by birth, by genes or whatever. So knowledge is something we acquire through our experiences. So to say that the differences, it is knowledge we can say is a collection of skills and information a person has acquired through his experience or through learning and through reading books and all. Intelligence is the ability to apply knowledge. So lack of knowledge in particular subjects. So because I might not be so much in depth of medical history or medicine or anything, I might not be able to use that. But if I am able to use in the spur of a moment, but in some moment when, suddenly a big cut comes, I apply my knowledge across and I know I'll be able to tie or something like this. So that intelligent or quickly calling a doctor. So this type of intelligence applications is across the domain I should be able to do. And knowledge, as you know, because of the technologies coming, the what I'm talking about AI might not be relevant after 10 years. So whatever the knowledge and experience I gain over these years, it will not be the same. Maybe after 10 years, I have to refresh myself, I have to upskill myself, I have to learn much more. So this knowledge is an ever-growing activity, and this keeps on going. Whereas intelligence is something you have innately that you will be able to apply and solve problems. So these are the basic terminologies of data, information, knowledge, and intelligence. So now what is artificial intelligence? So actually artificial intelligence was coined in 1955 by a computer scientist called as John McCarthy, which he called it as the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. So it is not that at that time, from that time only, the artificial intelligence was born. Actually, in 1950, he is Alan Turing. I think you would have seen the movie of Imitation Games also. He was a very great computer scientist. He is now called as the father of theoretical computer science also. He was the one who had coined this Turing test. So basically what he had told was that a machine can be called as intelligent if a person, he is not seeing whether he is asking a question and he is expecting a reply. And he is not seeing if the reply is coming from a machine or a human being. So they are behind a screen. So if he is able to say whether the person who has replied is a machine or a human being, then we can say that the machine is not intelligent. But if he is not able to discern whether the reply came from the machine or the human, then we can say that the machine is intelligent. So that was the understanding at 1950. Now currently we have machines, we have deep fakes, and also which we cannot really discern whether it is a machine that is talking or whether it is a human being who is talking. So definitely it is called as intelligent, but currently now that is also being questioned, whether it is intelligently replying or based on some statistical understanding, or not even without any understanding, without any application, based on some probability of the words that have to come out, is it giving out? So this also, though it has started, it was a very good start. Now there are different types of, benchmarks that are coming up for understanding what is that type of intelligence that is there in the machine. So basically, I think, the doctors understand this better this is the diagram of a nerve. This is a picture of a nerve. So basically what artificial intelligence, the computation, now if a computer has to have some intelligence in it, what is the basic computing factor? Like a calculator has something that it can do, like adders, multiplication. So there is some, transistor logic having ones and zeros, which is able to do that. Now to have artificial intelligence, it is not that you have to program it line by line. Then it is no more, you cannot really represent the knowledge that way. It becomes very tough. It becomes like a rule based. So which an intelligence cannot be captured that way. So what people thought was that, what is it in our brains? How are in the brains, how are the neurons working? Because they fire based on some chemical reactions and the stimulus, whatever is there. So based on that, they send signals. So this is the picture of a nerve. So these are the dendrites which are taking the input, and computations happen or chemical reactions happen in the cell body, which is passed out through an axon to the other nerves. So that is what has tried to be replicated here. So it takes the inputs and sums up based on the inputs, it sums it up, and some function is applied to it, and this is the output. And there is some bias added to it, so that either to push it to the output to at a higher level or to bring it to some level. So this is what is called as the perceptron. So this is the basic fundamental block of an AI. So you have the inputs coming here from whatever, the input image or whatever we are seeing. So input is given here. Each of them is weighted and they are summed up. and it is taken as a threshold. That means here it is sort of a step function sort of. This is the threshold. If it crosses the threshold, it is high. If it is below, it is -1. So that much only. So this is the thing that is applied. Each one is a perceptron. So what they have done, slowly moving further, now they have called it as a neuron. What made it a neuron from the perceptron? Instead of having a step function like this, having a 0 and a 1 or a -1 and a +1, they have made it such that it is like a slowly moving here. It is not so steep like this. Here it is a slowly increasing curve like that. So your output is some real value. Some value comes. It is not just 0 and 1. So that is called as the neuron. Okay, so now in a computer, they have lots of neurons like this. See, this is one neuron, what I showed you. Like that, there will be multiple neurons. So now you also generally hear this terminology or machine learning, deep learning. So what is the difference between machine learning and deep learning? Machine learning is when the human is also part of the solution. That means the person also tries to see what are the features you can be used to distinguish. If suppose the input is to distinguish between cars and motorcycles, then he will try to see that no, there should be some 4 wheels around it. So like the structure is completely closed. So like that, the features are extracted and it is given to a neural network like this, which do not have many layers. So each of these is a layer. Each vertical line is called a layer. So this is the input layer, output layer. This is called as the hidden layer because it is in between these two. So if only 3 are there, it is not a shallow networks. So this is called as machine learning because the human is trying to figure out what are the features that can be used to get the output. So this is called as machine learning. So the more data you give, the network will learn faster. So it is not that the human is giving these weights and the biases, what I talked earlier also. He is only giving the features. This network will learn. This is why it is called learning. This network will learn what should be the weights, what should be the hyperparameters are called. That is how many such neurons should be there. Now I have put 3 like that. How many should be there in each of the layer? So all that is learned and how fast it should learn. So all that is learned. Now in deep learning, what happens is there will be multiple numbers of these hidden layers. So they might be some 5 to even maybe 50 or so also. Very, very deep networks also can be there. So this is now here, the feature extraction, classification, everything happens by the network only. So that is why the human control is almost not there. That is why people fear that in AI, since we don't understand what is happening, the network is controlling everything and they don't even know how it has learned. That is why the fear that someday the machines might become much more cleverer and intelligent than the humans. These are the deep neural networks. So based input you give, this network will learn the weights and everything, able to give the output, whether it is a car or a not car. So that is why. So if you give any labeled inputs, it will go through multiple layers. So there will be a lot of neurons. Each is a neuron and the output will come. So now the basic difference now today, as I told you, lot of data is required for the learning process and there are so many hidden layers and the output comes with a probability also. How much is that is the reply or the answer is probability that this is a cat. But as you know, the person here is confused. He doesn't know how that answer came. Can be something else? Should I believe you? What can I trust you? Or is it wrong? He will not know. So tomorrow, this is what is happening now, that some way, some explainability should come. That is what in the future, this is what will make us understand why the answer is coming, what made the machine recognize this as a cat. So all of this is very much required. This is the difference it makes, especially for defense and in battlefield, because a person there who is operating the machine, operators there, if they cannot understand how the machine has arrived at some answer, they'll not be able to make use of it or fire a weapon based on the decision the machine is giving, because he wouldn't really know whether to trust it or not. Just because looking at this probability this is also not trustworthy. This is the probability the machine is saying that with this much confidence it is giving, but an operator cannot trust that and then fire a weapon based on this decision. That is why this is very much important, especially defense and military. So as just to, summarize this, I want to reinforce that when you hear of artificial intelligence is an umbrella word. It encompasses this machine learning and deep learning. So machine learning is only a way of realizing solutions where human also is in picture to guide the machine to arrive at the answer correctly. So some factors are input by the human operator also, or the human designer, I should say, not the operator, because operator doesn't know the design. It is a algorithm or the designer of the AI system who will try to give some features. Now, deep learning is where even here, because as I showed you very, very simple diagrams of neurons and artificial intelligence, actually, there are very, very complicated architectures which the AI designers come up with. Like you would have heard of convolutional neural networks. Nowadays, transformers, which are used for this chat GPT and all that you are hearing. So there are a lot of complicated networks that are designed by the AI designers, which will help in deep learning by the machine. And I just want to tell you that these are the general things that you hear: artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, super intelligence, or singularity also it is called. This is the final stage of self-aware AI, where it almost becomes like a human being. So artificial narrow intelligence is what? That means the machine is now capable of doing a particular task, like playing chess. It has, or AlphaGo, it has beaten the world's best players also in these games. But it can only do that. It cannot do anything else. Now, if you ask the machine which is playing chess to actually play an Atari game or play AlphaGo, it cannot do that. So this is very, very narrow intelligence. This is the stage where we are almost, doing many, many domains and fields. This is where we are. Now, general intelligence is what it matches. Like now, we will not be like human beings. We are not only in one task, we will be able to do multiple tasks. We also, in our domain, at the same time, we can go play some games and also go and cook or do multiple tasks. So that is what is a general intelligence, whether a machine can do multiple jobs like a human being. So we are still in this stage. We are yet to achieve, supremacy or real great technology in this artificial general intelligence. Now, super intelligence is what? This is the place where the machine surpasses the human intelligence. This is where great people, all the big shots in the AI game field, like Elon Musk and all, they all fear that, if we let AI technology and, the development in it progress unhindered, at one time, maybe the machines will become more intelligent than humans. And as we have seen in some of the movies, they might take over they might start ruling us. So that is what is called the singularity. And that is where is this stage. So we are almost perfected this stage. Some fields it is still coming out, but we are in this stage. So this is where this super intelligence comes. But always in some of the movies, as we have seen, the self-aware AI, where is it aware of its, can it recognize others' emotions? Does it have self-awareness? So whenever a machine replies, it really doesn't understand. When I say it is able to distinguish a cat and a dog, identify a car, it doesn't have a feel for a car. It doesn't really understand car. It is just the numbers. All the numbers across the neurons are firing. Last one number comes, which represents a cat or a dog or a car. So it doesn't really understand what it is doing. Self-aware AI is where it really, the machine understands like a human. So even in the super intelligence, it doesn't have the self-awareness. Whereas here it is almost becoming a human-like. So this is what, I mean, very, very futuristic. And we are really don't know whether we can achieve this or not. So before going further, I just would like to say that we have had a lot of industrial revolutions. So each of our exponential technology growth has been, there were some inflection points, like when the steam engines, when they were discovered, the complete industrial from mechanical looms and all industrialization started. Then there was a second inflection point when the electricity was invented, and many of them electrical machines and all have come up. Then the next point was when semiconductors, that is transistors, were invented, based on which the lot of electronics and IT solutions have started coming. Then it is the computers. Then then again there was this robotics, computers, AI, and all of this started here. The internet, worldwide in web internet, all of them started here. So, and now this is in the future. So we are almost here, and in the future we will be seeing lot of human and robots working together. And maybe there will be bionics also. Maybe part of us will be, maybe we'll have chips in our memory to increase our memory power. So there might be a lot of combination of the, electronics with the human and the bionics. So this is in the future. So we are moving in this way. At the same time, if we see the battlefield scenarios and the thought process that goes into the battlefields, what we started initially was, in the first generation, the lines and columns. Like, you used to see this Roman in Asterix comics and all. Also, we used to see the Romans, they all have a formations, pyramidal formations or any other formations. So each of them standing behind. So it was all direct power. So person firing directly at another person, or person directly firing into a building where many people are there. So it was lines and columns. And afterwards, it started as an indirect fight with artillery, radio, recognize. That means very far. You are not even able to see where the others are. More forward to your line of sight, you are able to fire at a very large distance, and aided by the radios and communications and reconnaissance is trying to gathering intelligence about the enemy. Then the third generation started almost as with the speed, stealth, and surprise. So there were a lot of surprise elements, catching them unawares, and mechanized infantry, military aircrafts, and all of these started the third generation of warfare. Then slowly it went into decentralized warfare. That means it is no more like a military to military fights, maybe Naxalites, some terrorism, counter-terrorism, guerrilla attacks. So it was, that is what here, as I'm talking, it is moving from symmetric to asymmetric warfare. Symmetry means our force and the enemy force are well balanced. Both are almost similar. Whereas asymmetric means, like here now whatever you are, in the recent warfares, what you are seeing also, Ukraine, Russia. Maybe Russia is trying to fire big missiles, but Ukraine is trying to defend by using small drones also. So these are becoming more and more asymmetric warfares. And in the fifth generation, slowly it will become human cognition, slowly moving forward. Maybe the enemy might try to sort of psychologically orient the citizens or other country whom it wants to occupy, based on something, social engineer them to submission. Or so this type of things, new attacks will come, and nowadays we are having a lot of cyber attacks also. whereas and false deep fakes and being used and misinformation being propagated. So the type of warfare also has changed like this with the technology that has progressed through these industrial revolutions. So the industrial revolution has had an effect on the way the battlefield scenario has also changed. So now it is becoming, as this is just I wanted to show you, see the way we have the CTS, LTS, 4TS in Olympics, now it has become that even in the warfare, it is not limited to traditional battlefield, but it has found increasingly its presence even in urban areas. So it is not necessary that the battlefields like, like Kurukshetra, they go to a place and fight. Now it has come to even to our streets and nooks and corners. Also these fights are there. Cyber world where no machine, no person is seen, but all the in the computers itself, it is happening. Social networks, use of Twitter, use of YouTube, use of Facebook and other social networks to, for fake news propaganda. So these challenges have led to newer use cases, and hence the technologies must result in products and services which are faster. So we have to develop for to have an efficient defense mechanism against any attack. We should have mechanisms for faster action, then higher in terms of reliability, technical superiority, and we should have a stronger presence of adversarial actions by being resilient and robust. Resilient and robust means even if they are able to attack, we should be able to withstand that attack and attack them back again. So it has come not only just as cross borders, now it is showing our presence in our day-to-day life also. We are able to see the effects of these warfares. So what are these applications of the AI? So AI has had a role, and it uses these learning mechanisms, reasoning, knowledge representation, planning. Perception is how to perceiving the environment. That means hearing, seeing, and based on that, and then having this memory. So now these applications, whichever you are seeing here, mostly can be connected with the civilian domain, that is in our everyday lives, as well as they are as much useful in the battlefield scenario also. Like this medical diagnosis also, now AI is playing a role in trying to automatically identify some of the, maybe look at the chest x-rays and suggest something. Maybe it has not really replaced, and it should never, and it can never replace a doctor who has had experience, and with all their expertise, it cannot really replace, in my opinion. But it can, nevertheless, be somewhat as a guide. It can give as input, as a test report. There also the diagnosis it can do. And surveillance. So what we see in the CCTVs in our houses, and so it can detect any activity, it can give an alarm. So the same thing can also be useful for in the military to, like in the border surveillance at the border areas where there are, a lot of no man's land. So in that, if any infiltration happens, surveillance, some, drones can move around to see if anybody is coming, the terrorists are coming, or any other country people are coming in, a neighbor's country people. So all that surveillance. Then decision making. So decision making is also very much required for command post operators and all to know whether, or the scenario that is developing. If you understand where enemy positions are there, what are the military actions and that is happening. So what should be the good strategy decision that can be made. And scheduling, like movement of troops, when they should be moved, at what times they should be moved, how many should be moved, and how much of transport allocation can be done. So all of these, and anomaly detection. So suppose like, if ships, generally they have shipping lanes. If those ships are moving in their own ship lanes, it is understood. But suddenly they deviate, then these are the anomaly detections, because thousands and lakhs of ships will be moved. So anomaly detection is when a ship deviates from its path. Does it have a bad intention? Is it a terrorist boats also, like our Bombay attack that has happened? So all of such anomaly detections, resource allocation. So all of these, the AI and AI will help us in getting those reasons. So that is what I have summarized it here. intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. So we used autonomous ground, aerial, and underwater platforms for analyzing, or detecting mines if it is underwater. Aerial, as I said, cross-border infiltration, or generally doing a recce, and ground sensors and ground robots also. And these command control systems for decision support systems, and cyber security also. The complete network, you can automatically monitor what is going on. And if some terrorists are talking to each other, trying to see if they are able to spot some keywords and generate alerts. And forensic analysis of speech and text, audio, all that processing. And protection of strategic assets with mounted EAO IR sensors and autonomous unmanned systems, and access control systems like face, fingerprinting, iris detection. Then autonomous weapon systems, these missiles, guided bombs, loitering munitions. So drones, they all can be having some, payload on them. That is the uh, payload on them to deliver, and then kamikaze type of, to destroy the enemy with munitions on it. So though these are roles here, the AI and the robotics also come into picture in all of these defense applications. So as you see here, the robots not only are helping us in the civilian, now these same applications or the same technologies in with some differences are also taken for our defense and for the military purpose. So here you might have, temperature controlled environments, it might need to work. And here you have the GPS and all, that is the global positioning system, everything working here. But once when you're in the battlefield, you cannot really have comfortable temperatures. It has to work in jamming. That means the enemy will not allow us to communicate with each other. Enemy will not allow us to localization. So in all such denied environments, now these technologies have to be applied. So what we do in our defense and DRDO is mainly to work in such conditions where we do not have the luxury of using this comfortable temperature, comfortable technologies. We have to work in when everything is getting jammed, when all the environments are being denied, all the technologies. So we have to have enough sensors to us so that even if localization is denied, we are able to localize using our own sensors. So this is what I have told you there, that there are a lot of, now we use AI and robotics in not only the land here, cyber domain, land, and this is the command headquarters. We also use it in the maritime domain, on the, on the surface vehicles, underwater vehicles, and UAVs, and also airspace based intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, satellites. So multiple domains. Now all of this information, so large and vast amount of information comes. So all of this has to be processed. Intelligence have to be extracted. Hence, we are definitely dependent on AI. It is not that we can do some without AI, we'll be able to work and give out. That is not the situation. We should be able to adapt to AI systems and solutions and move ahead. So here I'm just, I just brought this to just brief you of, different countries. It is not, these are exhaustive. These are only just examples I have just brought. So even China, all the countries are making some unmanned surface vehicle, combat surface vehicles. So these are all, tracked vehicles, military tanks and all, with lot of drones and swarming. So many of these countries are coming up with weaponized tracked vehicles also. So all of these will be with weapons. So many of them will be made, manless, without a human being also, they might get operated. So even European Union, everybody is into this now. They are trying to develop integrated modular unmanned ground system. So this is for the grounding, that ground system that I have brought out, where it is not only the system AI, it is also has a communication, cyber, AI solutions, so many things all combined together. Each country and each union, everybody is coming up with this. So even here you are having where you have multiple, you have unmanned systems in UK, where they are able to have, small UAVs. I mean, many are there, much more is there, information is there in internet also, and different types, not only these, from micro, nano to heavy, and a very high flying platforms you are having nowadays, where 48 hours also, more than 48 hours they'll be in the air to collect the information. So now more than these ground and big vehicles, now more concentration now has come in this drones. Now, as we are seeing even in the Israel-Lebanon war and also in the Ukraine-Russia war, drones are playing a very, very big role, because these are low cost and these are expendable, and these can be they fly at very low height, and hence they go undetected. So these have become these are taking a crucial role, and now this is this has become the highlight of using drones. And so in CARE, so this is where I working. This is Center for Artificial Intelligence Robotics. We have made lot of prototypes like this. So this is sort of, like a crab. It can move in all directions. So once you have a camera and fixed on it, all of them can autonomously move, and they can go like, this is a tracked vehicle. So it can go in unstructured vehicle. So unstructured environment, so that it can capture the intelligence and surveillance and transfer the information to us. So there are different types of vehicles. Then this is called as a robosentry. This is like a snake. It can, different gates, wherever in environments where it has to move through small pipes and all also. This is the camera it has. So it can move in such different directions, different types of platforms, uneven terrains. So to have much stable platform here. This can robocentric, this can for, closed environments, and it can go around on a path and then collect, instead of a human traveling and, guarding the place, this robocentric can guard. This is the camera through which it will collect. This is the lidar through which it is mapping. So it doesn't require any GPS or anything. It can move autonomously by itself and map the area. So we have made autonomous navigation system, wall climbing robots also. And this is one picture I wanted to show you why AI is important. Like, these are some of the sensors which give such images. If you have to really identify whether it is a tanker vessel or a container vessel or a carrier vessel, we can identify only seeing this. But through the clouds from the satellite, the images come like this. So if we really have to understand, we have to use AI. A human really cannot make out what it is. So AI is definitely indispensable for the battlefield. But there are also in the deployment, there are security risks like misinformation. Now there are a lot of generative AI, also deep fake news and all coming, and bias and fairness. Even Google had went into a lot of big problem when image had to be generated. It generated gods in like black gods and all. So see, these are the biases, like and for employment. Sometime it was seen that a solution that was used for employees, it was selecting mostly white people's employees as for the probable candidates to get employed more than black people. So these are the biases and fairness that we have to ensure, because all of this based on the data. The data you feed in are mostly, it shows that white people are good at jobs and black people are not. Then the AI will learn the solution like that. So very careful, and very carefully we have to select the data such that you are avoiding the biases and fairnesses, and ensure there's a fairness in it. And adversarial attacks are also possible, that enemy can without our knowledge poison the data itself. If the training data is poisoned, then naturally the machine also learns like that. So we have to be very careful of the adversarial attacks. And also we should be careful that malicious privacy concerns. AI could reveal personal or confidential data if they are present in the data set. For example, for medical records, if you try to feed in the data, then generally, each patient data only we have to give. So we should be very, very careful that we are redacting the patient information, but giving only the actual chest X-rays without revealing the information. Nowadays, many people are giving, from the WhatsApp and social media, a lot of data has been collected, how you are aging. So with that, people will be able to predict how you look 20 years later also. So all of this will hamper our personal privacy. So we should be very careful in that. And then malicious use in automated attacks also, like phishing emails, malware, and all that people are using. And nowadays we heard of a lot of cases also where in voice thing also people, their beloved ones calling and talking to them in that voice to transfer money and all that also. So such attacks are all coming. And AI can be used just to spread false news by in the social media, and unintended consequences in decision making also. If a wrong decision is taken by the AI software, it can lead to very harmful and side effects, in the sense that if a decision is taken that is an enemy has fired and now you have to fire, and a human follows it, it might be a wrong decision if it has given a wrong input to us. So we should be very careful of how we have to use the decision, whatever the machine is giving to us. So this is the example I wanted to show it to you. So this happened in 1983, way back. This was not a AI, but this is the problem with AI, I mean automated system at least. So in that time in the Soviet Union, USSR, one person who was on duty, that time that was the time actually it was a very sensitive time. That was shortly after Soviet Union had shot down a Korean jetliner also, and a Cold War was also going on. That time, some machine that was a automated machine, it had sensor. It had given some input to him that what appeared to be that US has released a nuclear armed intercontinental ballistic missile that US has fired, and those ballistic missiles are coming towards USA, I mean USSR. So now that he was only a lieutenant colonel. Now he was really wondering whether he has to move it up the chain, because once the higher ups also come to know that the nuclear warheads have been released by US, USSR will fire. That this time it will be a real action. And then if it might start a nuclear complete destroy the countries also. So now he thought that somehow he thought that was a false alarm. He didn't convey the decision to his superiors, and he waited. If they were really missiles fired, it would have come in 5 minutes, but it didn't come. So he realized that it was a false alarm, and that is why he is called as the man who saved the world. 2013 Danish documentary film also had come, and he was later on awarded, though in Russia he was reprimanded that he had not conveyed to the superiors, and also the news did not come out very soon. But if he had really assumed that whatever the machine was suggesting was correct, I don't know whether we would have been alive now or not. So the machines do make mistakes, and that mistake had been attributed to that satellites had mistaken the reflection of the sun off the clouds as an attacking missile. So these are the small things which we cannot understand how a machine has come to the decision. That is what I was telling to you previously in one of the slides, that explainability is very, very important. How the machine has come to the decision is important for us to understand, to know that it is not making such mistakes. That is what this is called as responsible AI. So whenever we are developing AI solutions, we have to be very responsible, because now accountability also. Now if a machine makes a mistake and wrongfully a missile is released, and the enemy's some target or something is neutralized, now who is accountable? Is the machine accountable? The designer of the machine is accountable, or the operator is who has operated the machine is accountable, or the commanding officer is accountable? So many questions are still there that have to be answered in the AI system. And we also have to take the societal environmental well-being of developing the solutions. Now we know that so much high power GPUs it is using, whether that is natural, using lot of natural resources also, and the diversity, fairness, as I told you, the color of the population, all that, it should ensure that it is all bias is not there, and how it is arriving, the transparency of the solutions are there. And so governance, data governance, how is the data protected, privacy is protected, and technical robustness and safety of the solution, how robust is it to any of the attacks. So all of this have to be thought of, and a solution has to be developed. This is called as responsible AI. for which many of the countries are also coming out with the frameworks to ensure that the AI solutions developed are completely responsible. And now, especially these are called as laws. That is the automated weapon, lethal automated weapon systems. So there are a lot of group of government experts has also established the framework, and they have, because this is actually, it is governed. You are not supposed to lethal automated weapon systems. We should not make. Automated weapon systems can be made, but if they are very lethal, then internationally they are coming out with principles to ensure that such weapon systems should ensure that the international humanitarian laws are followed. For example, recently now in the Israel, Lebanon, where that Hezbollah, all the pagers have blown. Now this is being questioned. Is it right to use a normal civilian hardware for such lethality? So this international, does it conform to these international humanitarian laws? So these are 11 are there. I just put some 3-4 here, and not to be anthropomorphized. That means the machine should not be made like a completely human and all, so that other humans will get confused. So that should not be done. And who is responsible for a action of the human? Security features to avoid tampering. So many others are there. So these are all also coming. So the moment, because of the probable problems that AI solutions might lead to, lot of laws and guidelines and frameworks are also being thought of and coming nowadays across the countries. So I would like to share that some good books also have come, like Army of None, where he taught, like Paul Schar. He had worked in military also, and for many years, and he has wrote the book. Army of None is where he's assuming like lot of robots and all, where people are not there, and our military is all made of robots, and so combat is all happening with the machines. So he has also come out that 4 battlegrounds, power in the age of AI, wherein he says, the 4 battlegrounds are now whichever country has lot of for compute power for AI, they will be the master. And then who has the skilled workers, and a lot of research, whoever does it, they will be all holding the in charge of the AI which will come over. So this is a very good book, that is an Army of None and 4 battlegrounds for applications of AI and robotics in military. So in this Army of None, he says also, if you use a machine for in battlefields, like if a human is there, see, if a machine has learned that a person having a gun in his hand, he is a soldier and he can be neutralized or killed. Now, if a small girl or a small child is standing with a toy gun, now a machine can mistake that person to be a soldier with a gun. If he's a human, he will take a decision that time. But a machine will not have that emotional understanding or such things. So it might try to neutralize. So these are all the problems that have to be taken care of when we are automating such, that is what I said as loss, that is lethal automated weapon system. So those are all the points also he has bring out very beautifully in these books. So in summary, I would like to summarize my talk. So what I just wanted to cover, so I have talked about the jargon of AI and tried to untangle the jargon that we have used for AI. I just gave a sneak peek into how the AI processing is done in machines, and generally touched on the industrial and warfare revolutions, how they are dependent on each other, and some of the use cases of AI and robots in defense and battlefield, and the challenges that we have that are generally faced in adapting these AI solutions based on the bias, fairness, robustness, and all of that that I had covered. So this is what we might expect, that man and machine will be working together tomorrow in future slowly. This is our expectation, but that is what now AI, we say we are expecting that. Now see, these are baby turtles, olive ridley hatchlings. Mother also will not be there. So once they hatch, they move towards. So where is that intelligence coming from? So what people are saying, it's not just that intelligence, you train it now. We come with some intelligence in us some wiring in us. When we are born itself, we are wired to do some things, cry, drink milk and all of that without learning much at all. So, and then we learn, and like AI machines now, they're like chat gpt, they'll like Google, they'll answer everything, but it cannot do anything much. So that is what is called as the Moravec's paradox. A machine might be very intelligent, but it doesn't have the intelligence of a toddler also. It cannot do simple functions. It might be able to do complex functions, but it cannot do a simple function. It cannot move around, it cannot understand anything, it doesn't know what a car is inside. So that is what, so with all of this, if we say that we have reached a very, high level of sophistication and complex problem solving with AI, but has it really done that? How far it is to really achieve what we want to do, and whatever we are achieving, are we moving in the right direction? So, and what is tomorrow, tomorrow, and are we putting tomorrow at stake? And so these are all the questions that AI leaves also. Thank you.
What a wonderful lecture, madam. Great.
Thank
You
you,
have,
sir.
you have simplified the topic in such a manner, presented in a very glucose form. Thank you very much.
It is a wonderful interaction.
Yeah, beautiful
Thought is
discussion.
really sort of very basic for everyone to understand. Those who do not have the knowledge of AI also will be able to understand the jargon and the basics of it. But the interaction also was very nice, and the application of AI in every field is fascinating, as she has said about the defense. And I have a slide here where I am working for a company on medical AI, where they use my medical knowledge to develop AI systems, and this is called clinical decision support systems, data science in medicine. I am a remote consultant on data science in medicine. My job is to tell them what sort of inputs they have to give and what sort of outputs they expect, which are relevant to the clinicians to take decisions and all. At some time point, we will try to have a discussion on data science in medicine and AI in medicine. So AI in medicine will be a great boon. No physician has to fear that he will be replaced. Ultimately, there is a warmth and feeling from the individual to the patient, between the patient and the doctor, which the machine will not be able to give, given the present scenario. So your talk is really interesting and focused on new areas like disaster management, and also on getting the so-called missiles and other army warfare and all that. It's very interesting, and I thank you so much for. Somebody has
Thank
put
you.
a question in the question box that can it predict my longevity using AI? Certainly, yes. There are already models, clinical decision support system models. You key in your variables like your blood pressure, age, weight, height, and heart condition, kidney condition. So many variables. It will ask you around 30, 40 questions. Depending on your answers, the probability of you living in the next 10 years is 10 years survival or 5 years survival, 0.9%, 0.9 or 0.8 or 0.6. It will easily predict and tell you, but it cannot be, precisely say an individual will die on this particular day. That's not possible. But a probability prediction models are available there.
Thank you, doctor. Very good information. But where it is
if you want, I
available,
can give you one question, one sort of model like that. You key in your variables and see how long you are going to live with a probability of 80% or 90%.
Okay, good. It's a good thing.
And also it will tell you the model. If you modify which factor, your longevity could increase. Supposing you are a smoker, if you quit smoking now, what will be the longevity? If you are having, heart problem or hypertension, if you control the hypertension, what is the probability increase in a step? The incremental longevity increase also it will predict.
Very informative. Please share that this thing, doctor.
Yeah, apart from the defense and disaster management, medicine is one field where it is very difficult to doctors to get all the latest information into their brain, up to date, what is happening, all guidelines, and nobody can remember. If the AI system can help you with that knowledge and give you a set of four or five options, these could be your answers, and the doctor can point himself onto that particular area and then make a quick decision. It can be an emergency also, it can be used.
I know.
Very informative, doctor. Very informative. Thank you.
Sometime
Thank
we'll
you.
have a
Doctor.
talk on CDS, that is clinical data support systems in medicine, data science in medicine. I try to throw some light to you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Shall I
doctor.
proceed? Sharmaji, shall I proceed?
It's very nice, always, to learn in a field you are new, and in a field where things are moving fast. And for example, AI, for a doctor, it will be fascinating. For a defense person, it will be fascinating. For everyone, it will be useful. Very nice talk from her. And she has put all her effort to prepare good slides and not violating the guidelines of her organization at the same time, giving us enough insights into the basics and jargon and where are the applications can come from, where it can go wrong, what are the things which you would like to take care before you put them into real application. All those things have been brought out in such a short span of about an hour. And needless to say, the talk is one of the very important and useful talks for all of us. And I thank her from the bottom of my heart for her wonderful talk. And same thing from the organization's point of view, the president, the vice president, and the secretary, and the treasurer, and all the office bearers and other members of the FOSWL who have gathered here express their deep sense of gratitude and reverence to you, madam. And we look forward to hear more things from you. And last but not the least, for any meeting, the audience are important, and their interaction, their openness to come out with their doubts, and is really interesting. And I thank all the members for the wonderful participation they had in this nice meeting. Maybe I think we adjourn here unless Dr. Sharmaji has got something else to say.